Welcome to another episode of Aligned and Abundant. On today's episode, I have a very special guest. Her name is Niki Sterner. She is an author, speaker, actor, comedian, award-winning filmmaker, and courage coach who helps ambitious creatives move with fear, rewrite limiting beliefs, and build the confidence to live their wildest yes life. She's the creator of The Confident Shortcut, a transformational system that empowers people to trust their voice, embrace discomfort, and take courageous, imperfect action. Her upcoming book, Move Forward Messy, explores why confidence comes after action and how learning to move before you feel ready can change everything. Through a blend of humor, neuroscience, and creative storytelling, Niki teaches people how to rise, become visible, and pursue the dreams they were born for. She is also the host of the Confidence Shortcut podcast and lives in Georgia with her husband and 3 children. Niki, I am so excited to have this conversation today. You are such a fun light in the world, and I can't wait to introduce you to my audience.
Yay! Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Tell me a little bit about who you are and where you started. And I know that is like such a broad, big question to start with.
So I grew up in a very small town in Montana, like 3,000 people. So you could be like famous in a small town, right? You could do it all. You didn't have to be incredible at every sport. You could be good and be starter on the basketball team, the volleyball team, the track team, all the stuff. I played the flute in band from 6th grade on. My mom said if she purchased a flute, she was like, "You will play this until you graduate."
Oh my God.
So $400 back in the day. That was a lot for
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Huge commitment. Yeah. So I did that and I sang in the choir and I didn't ever take a foreign language, which is funny, but music was my foreign language. Basically, when I went into college, they were like, yep, that counts. So cool.
Oh my God. I did not know that. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, yeah. And then I just was really athletic. I loved basketball was my like number one sport. So grew up, had friends on the team. We went to state my junior and senior year. And then I did dance team in college. So I was always very athletic, used my body, totally comfortable performing with my body, dancing, sports, all the stuff in front of a large crowd. But using my voice in front of people was a totally different thing. And so everybody looked at me as like this confident person, who could do anything. But in the back of my mind, I had this bigger dream that was calling to me to use my voice on stage and on screen. And so in college, I took my very first acting class. It was called like Intro to Acting or something. And they did an improv game like the first day where you had to say your name and do a movement with it. Have you ever done a game like that before?
Yeah, in peer leadership, we used to have to do all these funny, quirky games where you had to improv or like sit on someone's lap and like try to make them laugh, but like your goal as like the lap person was like not to laugh. So yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. So I was like deathly nervous, had total stage fright in class when it came to my turn. Like I almost forgot my own name.
Oh my God.
And I just felt like, wow, if this is really the dream that I have, it would be much easier than this. And so I didn't take any more acting classes because I was like, that was clearly not for me. I would have been good at it if it was meant for me. And a couple years into college, like my junior year, I couldn't really pick a major. I had started in pre-med and then I went into pre-physical therapy. And then my junior year, I was like, I don't want to do any of this. Like, this isn't making sense. So I took a break from college for like 6 weeks, had a meltdown, if you will.
Oh my gosh.
Therapy. And my mom helped me pick a major. She was like, you're really good at math. Why don't you do like accounting or something? So I got a business degree. Emphasis was in accounting. Kind of struggled through the accounting classes though, but I ended up graduating, right? So got my degree and went out into the world. And I actually did a pageant, which is random. I had done a couple pageants. And so I was a Budweiser girl in a parade in my college town.
Oh my gosh.
So this pageant director came up to us after and was like, hey, you guys should be in the Miss USA pageant, Montana. And I was like, ooh, wow. Because she said that there would be like LA talent managers there. And of course, this dream like popped back up into my head, like, yes, this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I'll do the pageant. Awesome. So I signed up for it. did it, studied for it, prepared for it, like my life depended on it. I bought a book. This was back before like the internet was like you go there and everything's there. So I bought this pageant winner's book and trained just like she said, an hour on the bike every day, learned how to do my makeup, my hair, all the stuff. And then I got to the pageant and sat down for the interviews. And it was like round robin style. You just shifted chairs every 3 minutes. And the very first person that I sat down with was the LA talent manager. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I was like interviewing with him, and my eyes were like all over the place because I was so nervous and so excited. And he stopped me like a couple minutes into it, and he was like, if you want to win this, you need to be able to look me in the eye and talk to me. And I love being coached, as a former athlete. I was like, ooh, this is good. He's coaching me right now. This feels so good. So I used that information that he gave me, and I used that on all of the judges that I interviewed with. And I ended up winning the best in interview, which
Oh
was amazing.
my God.
Who felt like so stressed out by talking and using my voice. I was like, wow, that just like blew my mind. And so I ended up signing with this talent manager and going out to LA after I graduated college and did this like 30-day boot camp, which was awesome. But it also kind of like charged up my nervous system in a way that I wasn't really ready for. And so after about like 28 days into it, right before I was about to like finish and get my demo reel and do all the stuff with him, I started to kind of like shut down and have this imposter syndrome happen. And I was like, I don't think I can do this. I have never really taken acting classes other than that one in college. And I felt like I wasn't like pretty enough. I wasn't talented enough. I wasn't enough of a human being to be here in LA doing this. Like it just felt like it was too big for me.
Wow.
And so I left. Sadly, I left 2 days before I could have, finished, and just because he kept saying like, oh, you could, we got to find you a job so you can stay here and take classes. And he was like, you could be a nanny. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. I've never really watched children before. That's not really in my comfort zone. He was like, well, what about like being a waitress at a restaurant? And I was like, ooh, I don't think I can do that either. I've never done that before. And so my brain kept like shutting me down, like every suggestion. Whereas now that I've like been through so much in the last 3 years and created this process that I call the confidence shortcut, which actually allows you to move forward messy into everything without knowing what to do before you start. Like you can know a little bit, but you can move forward with it and with the fear. But back in the day, I was just like, oh, no, that's not for me. I don't know how to do that. So I ran and I avoided the dream again. Like
Mm-hmm.
first class in college, no, not for me. Then like after college, went for this 30-day boot camp with the talent manager. It was great. He taught me how to do commercials. He got so much footage. I went and interviewed people at the Rose Bowl parade. Like I was doing like big stuff.
Oh my God.
And yet in my head, I was like, who am I to be doing this? So it was like I just didn't have the tools yet to stay with the
Right.
fear. I ran. Yeah. So that happened. And then I went to Minneapolis of all places because my best friend was there. And that was kind of like my safe space. So I went there and it was way too cold. And I was like, it was 6 months in Minneapolis and I was done.
That's a good
And
reason to leave. I would.
yeah, I mean, you're up in New Jersey. It's cold there,
It is.
Like up in Montana, I was like, I got to move to Arizona or California or somewhere warm because I can't deal with this. Like I grew up in the plains where it was like so windy. So like why did you even do your hair in the morning? It was like whooped around like so silly. But yeah, so it's like this dream kept following me everywhere I went.
I was gonna
And
say, it was almost like it was a test. It's like you knew from the moment you thought about what do I want to be or what do I want to do, you had this placed in your heart. And it was like the universe was giving you opportunities, but you were like too scared to do it.
mhm,
And I feel like so many people can relate to that, honestly.
yeah. Yeah.
And so accounting seemed like the safe route to go.
Yeah, the safe route, exactly. Although I was on antidepressants at the time because I was just like so
Overwhelmed.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That's the word, exactly. Overwhelmed. And I was doing dance team. I had a job at the foundation in college and trying to figure out my class situation because I was unwilling to actually choose the dream that I knew was for me. So it was like, I don't know what to do. So I was doing the business classes and the accounting classes. The antidepressants, I hate to say this, but they really just dumbed me down
Mhm.
because I was a valedictorian in high school and I knew how to take classes and how to test and everything, but I just couldn't keep up when my brain was dumbed down. I literally, it like slowed me down so much. And I'm super sensitive to medication. I know that about myself now. I might not be that way for other people, but for me, it was like 2 years. I don't even remember, which is crazy. Like I did dance team, I did my classes, but like what happened? Because I
You
wasn't
don't even
there.
remember. Wow, that's wild because not for nothing, because you're such a bright, bubbly personality now, and you had to go through all of these, I guess, obstacles and challenges to get to where you are now. And it's almost like to me the antidepressants were really working against your system because that's not who you're supposed to be,
Totally. Yeah. They were
you
not
know?
aligned at all with who I was. It was just me avoiding what I just didn't want to feel scared. I didn't want to feel fear. And that's what came up when this big dream showed up. It was like, the feeling of your heart beating out of your chest. I was not comfortable with that physical feeling. And I thought it was a bad thing at the time. Whereas now I know that this is actually really good energy to use. It's very powerful. And when I reframed that over the past 3 years, like I figured out how to use fear in a good way because fear never goes away. Fear is actually a natural instinct that we need in our body.
Right,
And so become fearless is like not even true. You
right.
ever be fearless. So let's stop trying for that because it's not even possible, you
Yeah.
know?
I was reading an article recently and it was talking about how the fight, flight, or freeze used to be very, very helpful for us, but we would come out of it within seconds of the danger leaving. And now it's like people get stuck in it. And we aren't
Yes.
supposed to be like living our life that way, where you're in your living room and you're like scanning, like, oh my God, what could kill me? Like, do you know what I mean? And so, how did you retrain your brain to get to where you're using your fear as that motivation, as that energy, as that power to shift your life and chase your dreams?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to go back just a little bit because
Yeah,
I
please.
actually said yes after all of the college stuff. And then I started taking acting classes eventually because I kept on having this depression lay on top of me. So I got married, had 3 kids, avoiding the dream, like, oh, this is maybe my path. This path feels safe. And I met an incredible man. I'm still with my husband. It's been 21 years and he's, put up with me for that long, Christine.
I love it.
It's been a ride, right? But yeah, like over time, my dad died was what happened. My dad died. And I was like, oh my gosh, I looked at him and I was like, this is a man who had so much potential. And I was like, he had gone to like airplane mechanic school and wanted to move to Alaska to pursue this. And like, he was like top of his class and yet never did anything with it. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg, like there was so many other things that had happened in his life where it was like he tried and like didn't fully, invest into it. And I just saw like this life that could have been so much more. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm following in the exact same path and I can't do that. So it's like his death woke me up, like to the fact that even if you're scared, you have to try because you're going to be depressed if you don't. Like I just kept getting smacked with depression every decade. It was like in college, I had it in my 30s when I was, stay at home mom with 3 kids. I just like when we moved to Atlanta, like I just got smacked with this depression that felt like so heavy. And it was like I could barely get out of bed and I didn't have a reason why. It was like, what is going on? And this is why, because it was like the universe was saying, okay, it's time. Like, wake up, start.
I wholeheartedly believe that you do suffer from depression when you're not answering your calling, when the universe is telling you there is something bigger and better for you and you're not doing it. You're keeping the safe route and you're doing all the things that you quote unquote think you should do or think that is easier. I too have suffered from depression. Same, I can relate to everything that you're saying in all the different stages of life. And it's like this mind numbing, I'm just going to get up and do what I have to do and like not really put my heart into it and just get through the day. And I
Good.
used to wake up when I was like feeling depressed and it'd be like, I just can't wait to get back into bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Like nap in the afternoon because you just like couldn't get through the day without like laying down, resting, because this heaviness just pulls you down. It pulls you like it's horrible. I feel
Yeah.
so bad when I see people in the state that I was in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to help you so bad. Like, don't you just feel like led to like share with
Oh,
them?
100%. Absolutely. Because you know, and I think that's what it's about though. Like you have to experience it yourself to be able to help other people and see other people and hold space for other people who are going through this and might not have the tools yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, how
Yeah.
different would your life have been if someone would have came and said, "Hey, Nikki, let me help you during your first bout of severe depression." Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it would have been a whole different change potentially.
Yeah. That's
You know?
exactly why I want to go and speak at colleges. Because I feel like that is when I was hit with this. Like, I can't choose that big dream, versus like if I would have had the tools to use my fear and move with it, I could have, avoided however many years, 20 some years of heartache and,
Right. Right.
time and energy. But
And
yes, so I got hit with the depression again in my 30s and made a decision that I would, as soon as all three kids were in school, I would start taking acting classes. And so that was like 2 years later when everybody was in elementary school and I started my first acting class. And I was taking passion flower because I knew that antidepressants didn't work for me. The passion flower, I don't know if you're familiar with it, Christine, but it's an herbal like little capsule that I was taking. And it did the same exact thing though. It just numbed me out. Like, not a good thing, but at the same time I was like, I just need to get through this time. So when I got in my acting class, I couldn't remember words. And it was because of this supplement that I was taking. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get off of this. And when I did, all of the emotions happened every time I got up in class. And it was so scary. I was like, oh my gosh, my heart is beating out of my chest. I could hear it like in my head, thump, thump, thump. Do you understand that feeling? Like, do you
yeah,
have that feeling?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, if
It's
you don't know
usually
what
for me like
to
an
say,
anxiety attack, though. It's usually like, oh, the anxiety is creeping up, and it's like, holy shit, like,
yes, that's what it is. It's an anxiety attack. And I didn't know that I had anxiety at the time because I had avoided it for so long that I was like, oh, I don't, what is anxiety? Like people are talking about this. This is crazy. I played it safe for so long that I didn't realize that I actually had anxiety.
yeah, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, totally. So I took classes and it went well. I've been on a lot of commercials, like more than 30 commercials now, which is awesome, right? But at the same time, it wasn't really using my voice as much because commercials are more safe, you know? So I challenged myself to get on stage and do stand-up comedy. And that was like 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago. And when I did, I told my husband, I was like, listen, I'm first in the lineup. So it's going to be awesome. I'll get down from stage and we'll have a great night together. It's going to be so fun. So I got up, I performed and got off stage. And he came over to congratulate me. And, was just like so excited for all of us because we were over in the performers area and I couldn't talk. Like literally, it was like my jaw was zipped shut. And I was like answering him in my head. I could see it, the words like a typewriter, like answering him, but nothing came out. And it was such a strange reaction. And he got frustrated after like 20 minutes of trying to talk to me and went back to his seat. And I didn't see him until I got home that night. And he was upset. And, understandably so. Like I had ignored him in front of all the other comedians. And he was like, what? Are you embarrassed of me? What's going on? Like, and I was like, hold on. I feel like I just got shot. I just, survived that performance. And I did not realize that I had so little skills to deal with this nervous system activation that it was now affecting the person that I love the most in our relationship. So that moment really made me get curious. What is going on in my body and in my brain when this happens? And so I have been studying, researching, reading books, doing everything I can for the past 3 years, trying to figure it out. And along the way, I figured it out. And I've been able to use the fear in a positive way. And I've written about it in my book, the Move Forward Messy, the confident shortcut for ambitious creatives, because so many of us have this talent, this story, this drive to get an idea out into the world, which is really important to do. But we don't know what to do when our nervous system gets activated. And what my process is, it's really simple. It's a 3-step science-backed process that I've uncovered. And the first part is dream detectives. Oprah says you have to know where you want to go to get to where you want to go. And so we uncover through 7 days of dream work what it is that actually you want to do versus like what have you been doing that maybe like someone told you should do. Like my mom said, you're great at math, you should do accounting. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try that. I was not passionate about that at all. It did not light me up. I wasn't even good at it. So we go through like a 4-part alignment audit. We go through 3S lists, which are your star list. Who did you look up to when you were younger? Or who do you look up to now? And what are they doing? And why do you look up to them? your scared list. What have you said no to in the past because of fear? Like for me, there was like riding a horse and like riding a motorcycle, tent camping in Montana. All different kinds of stuff came up. It wasn't necessarily attached to my career, but some of it was. Like speaking and telling my story was also on that list. And then the third part was success list, which is what have you been good at in the past? So these are like your receipts, and these are proof that you can do those things that you're scared of because you've done other things and been successful, which we need to see. You know, as we're going through hard things, you're going to have these limiting beliefs pop up and tell you that actually you shouldn't be doing this. But when you look at your receipts and, you know what, I have proof that I can do this, it just helps reinforce the path. And
Exactly,
so,
because our brains operate out of what it knows. And so if you keep giving it proof, if you keep giving it evidence, then it will then operate from thinking that that is safe. So the more evidence that you give it, the easier it will be to try scary things.
yes, totally. Yes, exactly. The proof. Yep. So you just keep repeating the pattern of try and do the scary thing. And then I have what's called the brave body loop. And that is where you use ACE mindset routine where you like feel the fear, you acknowledge the feeling like, oh, this is good. This is important. Because obviously if it wasn't important, you wouldn't be feeling this in your heart and your soul. Like this is your soul saying, yes, finally you're doing it. And then what I use is acknowledge the feeling and then clear. So you clear your mindset. So back in my basketball days, I would say the first blizzard is December 1st, which meant nothing to me, but it cleared my mind of any negative thoughts. Like, are you going to miss this? How many points are you guys down? Or like anything that could take me away from what I wanted to do, which was make the shot.
Right.
And I would elevate. So I would say, bend, swish. And that's what I wanted to do was swish every time. And I actually ended up with a record, a state record that is still there for the
What?
number. Yeah, the number of consecutive free throws during games, which is like the highest pressure situation.
I love that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, when I started doing stand-up comedy, I was like, I need to set my mindset before I go on stage because the open mics can get kind of like dull and like the same people you see there and everybody's in their own mind like
Hmm.
preparing to get on stage, and so they're not like necessarily laughing at your jokes, so you have to just create the energy that you want in the room. So I would say, ooh, I feel this is good, you know, I'm ready. And then I would say I move before I feel ready, which cleared my mind and made me know that even if I don't feel ready, like I'm going to move anyway. So it just got my mind off of like, am I going to forget my words? How's this going to go? Are they going to laugh at me? You know, are they not going to laugh? Is this going to be silence? So I would say that. And then I would elevate into, I am joyful. I am magnetic. The audience loves me and they laugh at all my jokes. So I would pop on stage with that energy. And this is what got me through 30 open mics in 30 days, which was me training my nervous system to feel the fear and move with it, which is, you know, how you can do everything that you want to do
Yeah, I
once you.
want to pause there for a minute. So tell me, how did you come about this plan, this idea that you were going to do 30 stages in 30 days? Because that one, that kind of rocks my nervous system a little bit. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. So as soon as I got curious about all this stuff, like how do I deal with this emotion? Because it was hurting my husband. I always knew I wanted to be on TV, Christine. And so I started training my mindset. I didn't realize that my brain was stuck in this limbic system impairment. So it was stuck in this fear loop. Like you were saying, like your brain can get stuck in a loop. And mine was totally stuck there from I had had breast implant illness and a mold exposure. And I had just had this health crisis right as I was doing the stand-up comedy and all this stuff. No, I actually had that like earlier. And I got my breast implants out. We moved out of the house and I recovered my body physically, but my brain
Mm,
never recovered. So I was still scanning, like you said, scanning for danger, like scents, chemical scents. I was sensitive to like fabric softeners and perfumes. And, you know, I couldn't walk through the laundry detergent aisle in Target without getting a headache. Yeah, it was crazy. So I was stuck in this loop of like, watch out for like chemicals. Where are they? Everywhere. And so I was getting on sets, like acting sets. And every time I did, I would get sick. So I had trained myself to do this acting, the dream, and then I was going out and doing it and getting sick. I was getting headaches, brain fog, you know, fatigue, all this stuff. And I was like, what is going on? Like, why? You know, I've invested all this time, all this energy, all this money into this. And it made me really sad, honestly. And I started to like second guess myself. And, I was sitting at home one day on the couch while the kids were at school and my husband was traveling for work. And I was just like, are they better off without me? Like, because all I'm doing is like sucking, it's like spending money. I'm not being successful. Like, I was embarrassed that I couldn't do this thing that was all I ever wanted to do. And I just felt like, you
Oh
know,
my God, Niki.
it was just so sad.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't help but like imagine like, my kids walking through the door and I'm like, well, I can't obviously do anything about that, but like I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so I had quit my acting class and my teacher was like stunned because she was like, why? You're just like doing so well. And I was like, I'm having this health crisis and I can't get on set. And so she was like, have you prayed for a miracle? And I was like, in my head, I was like, are you serious? Like, God doesn't
Yeah.
for me. Like, I've messed up so many times. I've run away so many times. Like, but I was like, yeah, I'll pray. Sure. So I prayed for a miracle and I went on set again and came home with a massive headache and brain fog and fatigue and all the stuff. And I was so angry that it like lit something inside of me. And I just sat down on this computer, this laptop right here, and typed in, how do you heal multiple chemical sensitivity? And that is when my miracle showed up. And I call it a miracle mindset because it was literally retraining my brain to get out of this fear loop, out of this stuck loop, this victim mindset of like, I am who I am and I've made these poor choices and this is just how my life's going to be, and reacting to what came to me versus putting myself in a growth loop of like, what is possible for me? I get to actually choose my thoughts. I get to choose my emotions. I get to choose my life that I'm creating. And it happened so quickly. Like when I started training, it was like my brain was like, whoo, we've been waiting for this for years, girl. Where you been?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because you were valedictorian. You clearly were a smart, bright person. And so you had to return. They were like, yay, she's back.
Yeah, right. Like I was so stuck in this dark place for so long. It truly was a miracle that I needed. And it was literally a mindset shift. Like from I am a victim in my life to I am the creator of my life. And it shifted almost immediately, like
Wow.
within hours, I would say. Like I could notice just like the darkness starting to fade away and like I could start to see things. And like within days, I was like back on set and I was, like doing fine. It was
Wow.
it was amazing. Yeah. And I started saying yes to things. Like I auditioned for a TV show. It was a survivalist type TV show. And I'm not really a survivor type person. So I invited my mom and my uncle to be on my team and we interviewed for it and we thought we were going to get it. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I have to start training for this.
Huh.
So I was so excited to go out in the wilderness and survive on nothing. So I went tent camping with my sister in Montana. I went and held snakes at a friend's house. I know that was crazy. I mean, like giant snakes. Like I had my Britney Spears moment,
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. I'm a slave for you, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I went and rode a horse. I went whitewater rafting. I did all this, adventurous stuff because I was preparing myself for what I really, truly, honestly knew that I wanted to do, which was be on TV. And so I didn't actually get on that show, thankfully, because I don't know if it would have went well.
Right?
Yeah, but this prepared me for everything that I'm sharing in my book.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it trained me to feel the fear and move with it
Mhm.
every single day.
So
And over
beautiful.
the course of this courage quest, I started to realize I had another opportunity pop up, and that was to do stand-up comedy again, which freaked the crap out of me. But I had said yes to it because somebody was like, hey, you should submit for this festival. I'm going to submit. And I was like, at the time, my mindset was so good. I was like, yeah, of course I'll submit. Let's do it. And I got it. And I was like,
Wow.
luckily, after I had started training my courage, because I don't know what would have happened if it happened before that. But I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to do it. And that's when I came up with the 30 open mics in 30 days to train for it. Cause I literally had like a month before I had to go to this comedy festival in Hollywood. So it was like big stakes, And yeah, so that's when I came up with the ACE mindset routine that I needed. I didn't know that I needed it until I was doing open mics and I was like, I got in my car one day and I was like, man, this sucks. Why does it suck so bad? And I realized, like, oh, wow, wait, I can actually do that same routine that I did with basketball for comedy, for any type of performance that's stressful. You can use the ACE mindset routine. And so when I started doing this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is changing my life. Like, this is crazy. And so I used that when I went up on stage for the comedy festival in Hollywood too. That saved my life, like having that. And they actually asked me to host the whole block because the guy that was coming from New York missed his flight. So, and I had never done that either, but I was in this process of saying yes to everything, Christine. And so I was freaking out the night of, and like you know that feeling, like my body was, I don't know if I was cold or if I was in a full on panic
Uh-huh.
attack, but like I had to get up in between, like after I had announced a few different people, I got up and went to the bathroom and moved that energy through me. Like I was doing like squats in the stall. I was like pumping my arms. I was running in place, moving the
Yes.
energy through me because I was just stuck in rumination. And I kept saying, like, I am safe. I am here. I am safe. And it wasn't doing anything for me. I had to literally get up and move the energy. Like, and that's why I truly know that your nervous system needs you to feel it and move with it so that you don't get stuck and you don't get in your head. And like, I started telling myself other things too, like, this is good, instead of like, oh my God, I'm so freaked out. What is going on? You know, because that can like literally spiral you when you feel it.
Oh
But if you
yeah.
tell yourself, like, I'm ready, like, this is a battery. When this turns on, I am like the energy in the room. Nothing can stop me. This is a turbo boost into everything I want. So that whole shift of the mindset and learning how to stay with your nervous system and not run and avoid like I had done so many times, that created a new power in me that I didn't know I had. And that feeling of I can move before I feel ready and I can move with this has changed my life. Like literally, because when you have big dreams, like we both do, and your listener has huge dreams too, I'm sure. But when you can move with this, you can do like thing after thing after thing. And it's like the layers of an onion. Like you peel back, oh, I didn't know I wanted to do comedy, but let's try that. And then once you do that, it's like, oh, I didn't know I wanted to speak on stage. What? Okay, I'll do that. And then, oh, I didn't know I wanted to write a book. What? I guess we're going to do that. Oh, and you know, like I want to do a TV show. Let's do that. Like you're unstoppable. Like literally, you just keep peeling back the layers when you know how to use this. It's the most incredible thing in the world. I wish I would have known this in college. And that's literally like why I want to get out and speak in 2026 and get in like every college and just be like, this is the key to the life that you want, because you know what you want. People know what they want. You knew your dream from the time you were little, right? What was your dream when you were
Yeah.
little?
Yeah. My dream was to become a teacher, and I did that. I fulfilled that dream, but I also did it in the safe way of just being a public school teacher. And now I want to be a teacher in a different way. I want to teach spirituality, and I want to teach people that they don't have to be stuck in the loops, in getting up every single day and doing the same things and kind of being bored with life. Like I want like a little spark of actually what you're saying is like, where's the light? Where's the energy? Where's the excitement in the day? And
Yeah.
so you're so inspirational, and I can totally see you rocking the stages and just really inspiring today's youth,
Mm.
because we need that. We need that, especially knowing, like you said, and I can relate as well. College was a rough time, you know, like it's great and it's exciting, but it's a lot to the nervous system. You're on the
Yes.
brink of what am I going to do for the rest of my life? You know, because that's what society teaches us, or at least used to teach us when we were in college, you know. And now I do feel like there are some shifts, but there are so many people that still think like this is it for the rest of my life, even if they're bored out of their mind or they're depressed about it.
Yeah.
And I think we're here to shake things up. We're here to say, no, we don't have to do that anymore. We can start a new page any day. I want to backtrack a little bit to, I love that you came up with that when you were on the basketball court. How did you think to apply it to like that moment of your life though? Was it just like a thought that came and snapped like a light bulb that was like, wait, I can take that and shift it to this aspect of my life? Like, where did that come from?
I just remember being in the car after I think I had done like two open mics, and they're pretty tough ones here in Atlanta. Like they're basically all comedians. And so like I was saying, like the energy can be very just dead in the room versus like if you're performing at like a club, totally different vibe. Like the people are there to watch you, to laugh, to have a good time. But open mics are different. They're like just like getting your practice in. And it's other
Oh,
comedians most of the time. And so they're like reading their notes, like going over their set before they go up. So they're not really even paying attention to you, which can be very challenging in your head because you're like, hello, I'm on stage. I just said a joke. It wasn't funny. Was it not funny? Like, because
right.
they're not even paying attention. And
Right.
so I got in my car and I was just like, what am I doing? Like, this feels awful. Like, I just felt like depleted. Like,
Yeah, you just put yourself out there. You really took the risk, and then you weren't really feeling the reward.
there was no reward. There was no reward. So I was in my car and I was just thinking about it. And then I don't know if it was like right in my car, if it was like after I showered the next morning, but in the next 24 hours, I had this come to me like, you've created like what you wanted through other things. Like, and basketball popped up in my head and my coach. I was like, oh my gosh, I can use that same mindset because I knew it was my mindset. I knew that this was the problem because the month earlier, when I was in a Courage Quest, when I was getting my motorcycle license, this is what happened. When I was getting my motorcycle license, I dropped the bike and hurt my leg. Actually, I didn't know it at the time, but it's a huge scar on my leg. But I was getting stuck in one certain point where I was supposed to like do this sharp turn, like you come to a stop and then you have to start. And I couldn't get it for whatever reason in my head without putting my foot down. And so I was beating myself up in my head, like, don't be an idiot. Like, just get this turn. It's not that hard, not that complicated. And so in my head, I was saying these negative thoughts and I fell. And then I was all nervous to do the test. I was like, am I even going to pass now? And I looked over and I saw there were two 18-year-old boys in my class and they were having the time of their life. They were just like not caring about little mistakes they made. And they were just there to like, have fun and get their license. And I was like, well, what am I doing over here? Like beating myself up. I'm here to have fun too. So in that moment, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to try to be perfect. I'm just going to do what it takes to pass and have fun. And so that was literally like a huge
Perfect.
switch in my brain for like out of perfection and into fun. Let's play, let's have fun with this. And so I started thinking about that moment when I was doing the comedy, like that was huge for me. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to have fun. And I got back into like, how do I create the fun in my head that I want on stage? And that's when the mindset routine from basketball came in like, oh, I can just say these things every time and be consistently fun on stage. And that's how it happened. It was like one thing after another on the path that they just dropped in.
I think we pick up little pieces of the puzzle and then we kind of forget about them. And then when we need it, it like pops back up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I write about that in the book too, how much that changed my life because my coach, I tend to be serious. And so my coach, like right before my senior year basketball tournament, we had these notebooks that we would write in every weekend after games to see like what went well, what could we work on, that kind of thing. And he would write back to us.
I love that.
So the weekend before our state tournament, he was like, I want you to have fun this weekend. Okay. Because if you're trying to prove yourself, to prove is pressure, but to
Mm.
show is fun. And so I've been trying to do that ever since. I didn't realize that that would be so powerful in my whole entire life. Like even with acting and any type of performances, like to prove that you're good is pressure and that doesn't feel good. But to show everything that you do and who you are is fun. It's playful. And so that really changed my life when I looked back on that experience and incorporated it into my reality now. Yeah.
Honestly, that's so cool because as an educator, like to know that a coach had that impactful moment on you that, like you just said, we're lucky enough to experience people who make such an impact on our lives that we're still thinking about them years later.
Oh my
And so that's
gosh.
so cool.
It's so random too. Yesterday, I saw someone at the gym. I was at the Y that looked like my coach. I know it wasn't him, but I was like, "Whoa!" That because I haven't like seen him for years, and I love him so much. He was like a father figure to me. It was just so constant, steady in my life, and just so supportive. And I really would like to see him. Like I really would like to on my book tour and speaking tour.
Yeah.
I really want to go see him and just give him a book and dedicate. Like,
Yes. Oh my gosh. Manifest it. Yes. Do it.
yeah, yes, yes, manifest. It. I love that. Yep.
I love it.
So I
Okay.
want you to think of like your body as like this brave loop. Like instead of the fear loop, we're
Mhm.
creating a brave loop. And you start with that ACE mindset routine, which helps you regulate this feeling. It regulates your nervous system by acknowledging the feeling, clearing your mindset, and then elevating into what you want. So that ACE mindset routine helps you stay in the feeling without avoiding it. So we talk about moving with fear. That's you being with fear and then moving with it. So yeah, so it starts with the ACE. And then after you've done this crazy, courageous thing, you reward yourself, because when we reward ourselves, it tells our brain that this is good. Like we're rewarding ourselves. It's like Pavlov's dogs. Like they would hear the bell, they would salivate, they would get the reward, they would get the food. So then this became the thing that their brain did every time the bell rang, they salivated, they got the food. So we want to create the same thing with fear. We want to experience the fear sensation, stay with it with the ACE mindset routine, and then reward ourselves. So for me, it could be like a piece of chocolate, or it could be like a dance, like to a fun song. It could be an essential oil. I have this thing called Stress Away. I also have one called Peace and Calming, where I'll just open up the bottle and literally, and it just makes me feel so good. It's so instant. It's so quick and easy, but it is a reward for the brain. And it's so close to the brain that like smelling something is one of the easiest things to do. And then you recover your nervous system. So you don't want to have that like nervous system energy still stuck or like kind of lingering. So at night, I do a nighttime reset routine where I will ground myself. I'll take off my shoes. I'll be grounding into the floor. I listen to a guided audio called Brave Then Bed, which resets my nervous system, calms me. You're moving into theta state, which is where you're most open. So I like to really train myself at night into what I want to create in the world. So I do some visualization in that guided audio where you speak like, I am on stage, people love me, like this kind of thing. Like, what are you wanting to create in the world? And there's like 45 seconds where you talk about it. Like you speak it out loud, you claim it in your life. And then I do like some touching, like some massage, lymphatic massage, which helps to really kind of move the energy through you. And that is basically the reset. I get in bed, and the last thing I say is, I'm the luckiest girl in the world. And then I recount what happened during the day. And it just feels like a completion of the whole thing. And then I repeat it the next day. Now, there's lots of ways you can do this. I call it daily discomfort, but you can also do an aligned action, which moves you forward in whatever your goal is, your soul goal, I call them. But the daily discomfort for me that I do every day is 10 seconds of cold water in the shower, which sucks every single day. I hate it. I'm not the person who jumps into the pool, like when it's cold. I dip my toe in the pool. So this is a huge thing that I am training my brain, that anterior mid-cingulate cortex portion of your brain, which is the courage muscle. When you do things that you don't want to do, it strengthens, and it helps you to do it again and again and again, because you're strengthening it like a muscle in the gym. Like you're just like, I do this every day. It's like 10 seconds of cold. It's not a big deal, but you're training yourself to stay in the discomfort, the daily discomfort, which will get you everything you want in life. If you can be in that discomfort feeling for 10 seconds, you can get through anything.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
this is like one of the biggest habits I've ever had. I didn't know about this until like part of my 3-year journey, like the courage quest and all the stuff. Like I was like, ooh, I learned about that cold water can help you with your nervous system and the vagus nerve. It helps to calm and tone that. So by doing this, you activate yourself with cold water because it feels like, what is going on? And I put my face in it and I'm like, I like make noise. I'm like, because it feels like you need to release it. But yeah, so I feel the cold for 10 seconds and then I turn it back to warm, because I moved through it, and then I reward myself with that warm water.
Oh my God, yes.
It's crazy, but it is life changing. I'm telling you, nobody wants to do cold water, but if you can become the person who does it, and everyone can do it, everyone can do it, Christine. It is free. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna shower anyway. Why not train yourself? And then I listened to a guided audio called "I Move Before I Feel Ready." So while I'm training myself, I'm also telling myself I move before I feel ready, and I do all these things. And it's like magic. It's like you become the person who does everything you say you want to do. Nothing stops you. It is insane, literally
That
insane.
sounds, honestly, that sounds so good. And I thought about you the other day because I know we talked previously and I was thinking about that cold water and I felt it with my hand. Then I was like, oh no.
Oh
Um,
no.
but I think I'm going to try to work up to it because what you're saying, it's like, I don't know, I feel such a surge of like hope that I too can like change my life because if I can get into that cold shower And
Yeah.
then, like you said, I'm learning so much from this conversation that I can't wait to put it into application. And I
Mm.
hope that my listeners are taking notes also because I'm learning so much and I kind of want to experiment. I want to challenge myself.
Yes. And there's other ways too, but like you said, like you could start with like 2 seconds of cold water and work your
Yeah.
way up. Like it can be 5 seconds. Just do the thing that you don't want to do,
Yeah.
you know, and then turn it to warm. Like
Yeah.
it's quick, and I never want to do it. Honestly, I'm always like, oh, here we go again, and I'm like, there it is, and it's done like in 10
But
seconds.
that's the thing. That's the thing. When it's done, it's like, wow, you feel good. You feel on top of the world. You feel like I could do anything.
Yes, yes. And I've heard people like have like conquered depression with this too. Cause like when you feel stuck and the energy's stuck, like this really moves you through that. It like
Mhm.
gets energy to move. Like this is a jump start into your life.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's even harder in the winter right now
Oh,
because the
yeah.
water is much colder.
Yeah.
The
That's how
water.
I'm looking to get into the shower to warm up. So it's like,
Huh.
right?
Yeah, I do it twice now. I do it at the end too with my hair. And every time I'm doing it, I'm like the cold water. So
Yeah.
every time I'm doing it, I'm like, this is just discomfort. It's just discomfort. I can survive this, you know. And I tell myself that now. And it's like magic. It's crazy.
Honestly, it sounds like a prescription for success, for happiness. The whole thing, the whole morning routine and the night routine, it just sounds so amazing. How did you piece all of those things together? Did you just take little things that you thought could work and then kind of just tried it until you found like a recipe that like felt really good for you?
Yeah. I started with the guided audios from a mentor named Wendy Braun.
Mhm.
She's an actor and she does mindset training. She's been in Forbes magazine. And so I had done her program, and she had an audio called I Am Worthy that I listened to for a full year in the morning. And then she had one called Creating Success While You Sleep that I listened to before bed every night while I'm brushing my teeth. I habit stack like James Clear says to do. So that I'm already brushing my teeth. Why not listen to this guided audio? You're going to think thoughts in your head. So why not make them support your life and what you want? So I was listening in the morning and at night. And when I started teaching my process, I created my own guided audios that matched what I was teaching. So mine is I move before I feel ready, because that is my whole philosophy is like, we don't have to over prepare anymore. We don't have to be perfect. We need to learn a little bit, and then we need to move with fear, because the fear will always be there. So I move before I feel ready is the morning. And then at night, it's that brave, then bed reset for our nervous system, which is what I do, what works for my clients. It really is that full loop, that brave body loop. We activate ourselves. We do it on purpose so that we can learn how to move with it. We move into the reward, tell ourselves, ooh, this is good. I did it. I'm so proud of myself. Yay, I did it. I'm brave. And then we reset at the end of the night so that we can calm our nervous system and just train ourselves that this is normal. This is our norm. We do things that scare us and we're fine. We survived. We survive every
It's
single
so
day.
good. I cannot wait to use some of these tips, tricks, routines. Like, I can't wait to start applying some of these to my life. I'm really so excited, honestly. This has been such an amazing conversation.
I write about all of it in my book. I know it seems like a
That's what
lot,
I
right?
want to go into. Yeah, your book. Tell me all about
Yeah.
your book, please.
So my book is more like clearly written out. Like obviously I was kind of like here and there and everywhere, but it's like an 8-week process that is every day you have something that you're working on. Like week 1 is Dream Detective, where you have 7 days of dream work, where you have something that you're working on every day. And I have a blueprint, which, you know, for you and I, we grew up with like paper, right? So it's like a 24-inch by 36-inch poster that you're going to put on your wall, and you're going to fill in as you work through the confidence shortcut. So the 7 days of dream work, you're going to put on that wall. So this is like your confidence command center. This is where you look every day to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it. So then the second week is your miracle mindset. And you have 7 days of mindset work where you uncover those beliefs that have been holding you back, limiting beliefs, the core beliefs. We talk about Gandhi's belief chain, where your beliefs create your thoughts, create your actions, create your habits, create your values and your destiny. So we walk through that one day, and you just list it all on your blueprint. And then the weeks 3 through 8 is your courage quest, where you take action. You build this daily discomfort habit, which, by the way, can be more than just the cold water, but the cold water is the simplest one. But there's so many things you could do. It could be like having a conversation with somebody if you're somebody who's has social anxiety. It could be walking into a store that you don't feel comfortable in, like a high fashion one, and trying something on. Like there's so many different ways that you can get in daily discomfort. If it's like asking for help, maybe you're somebody who thinks you have to do it all yourself. Asking for help from somebody can be very uncomfortable, but it's just the habit of getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And so there's 6 weeks, and I have you choose one skill that you're working toward, and you do the 30 and 30 days within that time period. So it's just a process. And we go through all kinds of things like how you can invite in the cringe, that feeling, the uncomfortable feeling, and like your quirks and your flaws and uncovering what those are. And it's just good information that you get to experience and find out and uncover for yourself. And it's been a process that has really helped people. And so that's why I want to get it out in the world.
Absolutely. That's so inspiring. Is your book already out or is it coming?
It's coming. I am finalizing, yeah, like the final edit right now, which is exciting. It should be out soon. I don't know exactly when, but hopefully in the next week or two
Oh
is my
my
plan.
gosh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
But then come into the move forward messy movement and feel like I don't have to be perfect, and I can move through this 8 weeks and actually discover what I want to do and find happiness, which is what we all want. So I think I will have an 8 week program launching to help you move through the book and the whole process. There will be a book, a journal, and a blueprint. And you'll buy, it's called the Confident Shortcut Collection, the Move Forward Messy Collection. Yeah.
I love
So
that.
we'll take you through the 8 weeks. It'll be magical.
And
Change
I
your
think
life.
you're one of the best teachers to do this because you're giving people the permission to do it messy. And I think that there are so many women out there, and men, of course, also. But as a woman, I can obviously relate to women when we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect, to be the perfect mom, to have the perfect career, to balance everything perfectly. And we need to step away from this concept of perfect because, in the end, there really is no perfect. And we put so much pressure on ourselves, then yes, we end up with all of these diseases, the depression, the comparison, and then you have the imposter syndrome when you finally get your courage built up. And so this just honestly sounds like such an amazing path to really get back to the core of the onion, to get back to the core of who you are and peel back those layers and do it messy and do it with courage and bravery. It sounds like so much fun. Well, it's scary, but it also sounds like so much fun, like a challenge, you know?
It is so fun. It will just wake you up to the core. It is so much fun, and it really will change your life. I know that. That's why I want to turn it into a TV show, Christine, because I feel like this will change people's lives, and they will be able to watch this and then experience it in their own lives and have that hope that they're not stuck, that they can change, that things can change, because they'll watch other people experience this on screen and know that it's possible. If it's possible for them, it's possible for me, right?
Absolutely. That evidence, that proof. Honestly, I just got chills when you said that. I can totally see it being a TV series for sure. I can. I can.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, I
yay.
mean, look at all the other stuff we watch, and that's like not even like beneficial. Do you know what I mean? Like this would be like life changing.
Yeah. See, it's kind of like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy meets like Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, that kind of like soul changing, but also like, where are you today and where can you be? Like, let's have some growth here. And yeah, I'm looking at like mentors that we can bring in, kind of like American Idol, Dancing with the Stars, how they bring in a mentor and it takes you from here to there. Like, the skill that you want to build, let's build it quickly and let's go through this fear. Let's move with it.
My God. I love
So
it. I love it. Honestly, I feel like I could
she has,
talk to you forever.
yeah, I
It's
know,
been such a
same.
great
You're amazing.
conversation.
You're amazing.
Is there anything, well, I mean, you have already left us with so much. If you wanted to wrap up any last advice or insight into a pretty packaged bow for the audience, what would that be? And feel free to say as much as your heart feels called to do.
Yeah, so I would love to end with a quote, and it's from Oprah, actually. She was delivering an address to a college, and she said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Because the world needs people who have come alive." And I feel like that is exactly what we're doing in when we move forward messy. It's like, I'm not trying to be what you think I need to be anymore. I'm going to be me, and I'm going to do what makes me happy, because happy people, that's the world that I want to live in. And the world that you want to live in is people who have come alive and are passionate about what they're doing. And I wasn't there for so long. And now that I am, I just want to spread this message to everyone. So thank you for having me on your show. And I do hope that this changes at least one person's life.
Well, I can tell you for a fact it's already changing mine. Like I'm literally tearing up over here because I don't know everything that you've shared and said. It's so inspirational and it feels doable. It feels
Oh,
doable.
good.
And so I already love you, and I just can't wait to get this out there because I know for a fact you are making the difference in people's lives already. So I
Mm.
would not even say you want to, like, you've already done it. You've already done it, and you're going to continue to do it. And I'm so
Oh,
happy for that, for you.
thank you. You are such a gift. Thank you for having me here today. I love having conversations with you. I hope that we can do this again.
Absolutely. If you've been feeling the pull for deeper transformation, real, lasting change that starts from within, I'd love to invite you into transformational one-on-one coaching with me. This is where alignment becomes your new normal. You'll get 4 90-minute sessions at an introductory offer of $600, designed to help you release what's holding you back, reconnect with your truth, and step into the next version of yourself, fully and unapologetically. You can book your sessions through the link in my bio. Just tap my link tree to get started. Your next breakthrough is closer than you think, and I'd love to be a part of your journey.